Training Opportunities with James and Ryan. You can do an externship with James in Bend, Oregon, October 15th through 18th, 2025. Lisa J. Palmer Olson and Dr. James Hawkins will co-lead core skills modules in Colorado. Modules 1 and 2 are scheduled for October 8th through 10th, 2025. And modules 3 and 4 for January 7th through 9th, 2026. The Arkansas EFT Center externship will take place from July 29th to August 1st, 2025 in Fayetteville, Arkansas. The training will be led by George and Ryan with a cameo appearance by James. Join the SV team at the first ever SV Focus Lab, an advanced EFCT training focusing on EFT and SUSE model. This hybrid event offers a 10% discount for Leading Edge listeners who register before July 1st at svfocuslab.com. Leading Edge, and these links can be found in the show notes.
And going back in, and the discount code for the Leading Edge listeners for the SV Focus Lab can be at svfocuslab.com/leading edge to get your 10% discount. All right. There's times when we get to hear great questions from you all. Today, we have a special guest who's going to be bringing forward some of those questions for me to answer on the podcast.
Welcome to the Leading Edge in Emotionally Focused Therapy with your hosts, Dr. James Hawkins and Dr. Ryan Rana. EFT is a dynamic model that humbles even the most seasoned therapists. Together, we want to come alongside you as you continually push the leading edge of your understanding and application of this wonderful model developed by Dr. Sue Johnson.
All right. Like I said, we got a special guest in the studio. I shouldn't even say guest. It's just a treat. We don't always get to have her physically in the studio with us, but you hear her every single time you hear this podcast. And some of you have had the humor of hearing me and Ryan start off trainings by playing the voice of my wife, Nicola Hawkins.
Hey
the
guys.
voice, yeah. Good to have you back, Nicola, and just thank you. Nicola really is a part of this show. Even when she's not here, I process some of the ideas. I appreciate she goes to some of the trainings with me and she hears she does a good job of consolidating what she's hearing and what she's from other learners. And then she comes and puts bugs in my ear to help me be better as a trainer. So I definitely want to give her a lot of credit. And she's definitely a great resource for Ryan and I. So thank you, Nicola. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. It's fun kind of gathering and having my own questions and, dropping them in your ear.
Right. And it was so cool about it. Just recently, as you heard, I'll be doing externship in Bend, Oregon. Great community up there. And they actually had Nicola come in to do a community meeting with them.
That was so fun.
And it was good. I tried not to hang over your shoulder too much, but it was definitely good to hear you.
Just passing by.
And what I love about what you are bringing, Nicola, is, as a trainer, I think we always have to we dedicate ourselves to perfecting our craft and really studying our process. I mean, you're around with me and the SV team when we're really processing things. And sometimes with that, I think what ends up happening is I forget sometimes. What I'm going to say it this way. I appreciate how you keep me in constant thinking about what is it like for the brand new learner sitting in the seat. You never let me forget that, and I'm thankful for that. And you do a good job when you've been on this podcast before and even in that community about normalizing the learning process of EFT. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's one of those things where I think the model itself, we talk about it, can humble even the most seasoned therapists, right? So there's always this edge of learning. And then when you're new, it's so much and you don't know what you don't know. And so it can feel whether overwhelming, exciting, or what am I missing? I really want to get this. I really want to hone it in. And some people come from it from different facets. Way of thinking through things, right? Very cognitive, very experiential. And so it's just like, how do you draw all of those aspects and all those different learning styles and make it make sense for those who are learning it at the new?
Thank you, Nicola. I mean, now I want to go into an episode just on that. But anyway, but I want to go to the mailbox since we already
Right.
told that. Like,
Right.
so I know you've looked, there's a question I think you got in Bend, Oregon you want to ask here. And then you went into the email and you found a listener's question. So
Yeah.
I'll kick it over to you, Nicola.
Yeah. No, one of the questions that I got in talking about the process of being with the couples is, how do you validate one of the couples in session while the other one may be listening on, and it may get a little bit, salty, painful, it's just hard to hear. Like, I'm hurting and there's pain in me like this, and you are looking at them and validating the very thing that may feel like their action tendency, right? That lands on me in a rough and hard way, or confusing or disorienting way, right? So I thought that was a beautiful question from that perspective.
Well, thank you. And I agree with, so one, we've talked about this in EFT, and I don't know the best way to say it yet, but when you're doing couples work, you're going to constantly be kind of like building your alliance and borrowing from the alliance.
Yes. Yeah.
It just is what it is, and that's what makes relational work hard. So let me be specific here to be clear. So what Nicola is particularly talking about, and what we do a lot of in EFTs, there's intervention. We talk about validation, which is not unique to EFT, but in validation, what we are trying to specifically here to help that person is we're trying to validate the attachment function.
Right. Yeah.
So one, EFT is not about validating abuse or harmful behavior, but we do need to validate the attachment function. So like if particularly here, I'm going to be very general with it.
Right.
Like we want to be able to validate the attachment instincts of the pursuer, who is kind of like sometimes tends to focus on what seems like negative or critical things, but I can validate for that. Or sometimes pursuers have a lot of energy and they can get loud, they can get big, they can go fast, which withdrawers can too.
Yeah.
But with pursuer, what I'm going to lean into is like, hey, I want to be able to appreciate what this energy is trying to do, because what you're letting me see is this energy is like you're getting loud because you're trying to get someone's attention here.
Right.
And of course, in a moment when you feel disconnected and when you feel afraid and you've tried to do it quietly and your partner doesn't hear you, the next logical thing for your body is get louder to make sure someone hears me. And all I did with that is, if you noticed it, is I didn't just say, yeah, you yell. You should yell. Yell, get loud.
There's a difference.
So you see how that's different?
Yeah, it lands.
I'm just saying, yell, get loud. Now there's no direction.
Yeah.
But you see what I'm doing? I'm almost in a way, it's a little bit of a challenge. You got scared. No one heard you.
Right.
So the next thing your body goes to is to get loud.
Right. Yeah.
Now, the reason why I'm doing that, one, is I am also trying to do something to the person with that validation to say, oh, you're right. I was scared. That is why I got loud.
Highlighting it for them.
Because one,
let them notice.
Does that need to change in some ways? Probably for both partners in some ways. But what I want them to do is they won't change it until I can show them I get the good reason they do it.
Yeah.
So if all I try and do is say, stop doing that, your partner doesn't like it, that's not going to land well for them either. Right. So I want to be fair with that one. So that's one part of.
Then you go into more behavior managing, like if I get quieter, that might help. Or
But let me stay here and make sure I finish that out. So I want to make sure you hear me say it's one, make sure you're validating the attachment function. And that helps make it a little bit easier for the other partner to hear. But also, let me say this. Doesn't matter how you do that. Sometimes that's hard, because why are our clients typically coming in? And I think I got this one from Ryan. Because the reason why they're typically coming in is to stop their partner from protecting themselves the way they are. So I get it. So also, if you notice in that validation, to me, it also had a reframe inside of it. Because it's not just about, of course you yell at your partner. Of course, when you've tried everything and you've tried not to say anything, or you tried to say it quietly, and then it wasn't heard. So now it's a reframe a little bit, because hopefully they can see like, oh, that is the progression. Oh, they didn't just start off yelling. There was a progression. So one, that makes it easier. And I need them to, and also I'll say this, it's okay, to me at least, I'm all right with them feeling a little bit of discomfort with that. Because guess what? I'm going to do the same thing when it becomes their turn. So now the question really for the therapist is is I'm only validating one-sidedly, then that just always lands nasty. So
Mm.
if I find I can validate the energy of the pursuer, but I can't validate the struggle of the withdrawer when
Oh,
they
yeah.
want to go away, or if I only validate the withdrawer but not the
Yeah.
pursuer, now you've got an
It
unbalanced
creates a,
problem.
imbalance for sure.
Then
Yeah.
another thing is, what I will say to partners is, sometimes if I see them getting uncomfortable, like when I'm doing that, like I might look over at the corner of my eye and I see they kind of wince or they like roll their eyes or whatever. I'll say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
but I understand that it doesn't feel so good for you.
Right.
I
Yeah.
can see the function, what it's trying to do for them, and I want them to be able to do that differently. But I want your body to know I do see what's happening to you on the receiving end of that. Can you hang in with me for a few more minutes?
Right.
And that's my way of, I know I just borrowed, I noted that I saw you. And many times for me, my clients, they don't interrupt because I pulled it off of their body by naming it
Mm-hmm.
and saying, I see you and I see that it's probably different for you. That's
Mm-hmm.
not how it lands for you. That all those things that I would do to try and help with that.
Yeah. I like that. I feel like, okay, that's good. As you're talking, I kind of am running back through my mind, like, what did I tell them? What was my answer? And so I think that was pretty much along the lines of where I, reflected with this person with a question in that moment. And I was like, and I imagine what sometimes it may feel like for the other couple to be able to say, oh, that's why your behavior was like that. That's what that was about. Like I never really saw it to be that. Like sometimes if it can even, it's like maybe it can awaken that curiosity from the other side as well as you're validating in the way that you just described, James, there. So thank you for kind of leaning into that aspect and helping us to see a little bit clearer there.
And can I touch on one more part of it?
Mm-hmm.
So let me say, I do have a line like, I'm not, now this is hard. I won't validate you calling your partner a name. I won't validate you making what I feel like are unfair
Mm-hmm.
character judgments or assassinations.
Mm-hmm.
But I still will try and find, I like, even if that energy, because usually if a person does that name calling, that's a desperate plea, like that's a frantic kind of heart and moment.
Mm.
And they're just kind of like, sometimes it's like, I'm going to hurt you because I'm hurting and no
Because
one
I'm
saw.
hurting, yeah.
And so, hey, I might kind of catch it like, ooh, I might say, ouch, ooh,
Mm.
gosh, ouch. That probably was painful for your partner. But can I stay here?
Yeah.
Because my guess is you went to that because something was happening
Something
for you.
happened, yeah.
And you were trying to either protect yourself or get
Just
somebody's
exploring with
attention.
them, yeah.
So I will still like, there's still a little bit of validation. But if you notice, that first
I'm
ouch is
turning
to
it.
say,
That didn't land. Ouch. That
and
didn't
I'm
land
and I'm
good.
and I, what
Yeah.
I'm doing is I'm speaking out for the nervous system of the other person who got hit by
Mm.
those words.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
can't
like
sit here
that.
and claim all the credit for that. I want to give definitely Dr. Lisa Palmer Olson some credit. She definitely, and her and George and Ryan have helped me
Mm-hmm.
get clear in those like really tense moments how to handle those delicately. So
Mm.
beautiful question, but I do want to say to the listener and other listeners is, but you got to do it. Because
Mm-hmm.
here's what I tried to like be safe on some of my validations. But when you try and play it safe with the validation, too safe, and
Okay.
then you don't validate the person in front of you, then you just kind of, in a way, you like leave everybody hanging
Kind of
by
in some
trying not
spot.
to upset this person.
Mm.
And by the way, that's just the cycle.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
say that because like they can't have any validation. So when you can meet them first with a validation, then you can earn the right to come with the challenge. And one person, he said, oh, I didn't think you could do that. I was like, what do you mean?
Mm.
He said, you first met my partner with validation, and then that gave you the right to then ask her hard questions later. And he's a withdrawer. He says, I just immediately start questioning her, the
Questioning.
reason and all this, and I don't give validation. So even him seeing me do it, he caught it and said, oh,
Yeah.
that's the step I'm missing.
Okay. It
Anyway,
makes such a, I'm like thinking, like it makes such a different impact on the nervous system altogether. Being able to like, oh, it's like you catch me where I'm at, being able to bring me into a different light and a different experience. Yeah. Okay, you ready for the next one, or does that feel pretty clean?
let's do one more, and then we gotta call it a show for today.
Okay. And this I feel like it's relatively the same line, but this portion says, when you're trying to, you've gone down the temporary variation, and then, um, getting the trigger clear,
Mm-hmm.
getting protection, reflecting, maybe some exploring, validating, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like this point of doing the enactment comes up,
Mm-hmm.
and you're trying to say, well, okay, turn and share this with the partner, and the person that you're reflecting with kind of says they already know that, like we talked about this before, and kind of have some, if you will, like a resistance, or maybe it's just the honest, like I said it before, right? So like, how do you navigate that portion is what the asker is asking out of Virginia.
Oh man, that's cool. It's so funny. I just got to watch a certification video just last night,
Uh-huh.
and this same situation happened.
Oh.
I wish I could ask her if I had her permissions, but she did a phenomenal job with it. So hey, if you know I just sent you an email about your certification, I'm talking about you. Good job. And she caught it, and the client said that same thing, but he knows this already.
Right.
It's like, oh, so there's a couple levels. One, if it's an early stage one couple, I've done, so what I've done before is like, and you probably have, but my eyes haven't gotten a chance to see what that looks like.
Ooh.
So for right now, could we just stay here? Because I want to see what it looks like when you try and talk about this important part. Because one, you might have said it, but then also want to see what that does for your partner and how that hits their heart.
That feels so gentle.
So there's that one. That's a possible one.
Okay.
There's many good
That
reasons
feels
why to go
disarming.
with, or to maybe wave it off. Another one could be, yes, I know you say this, you've said this before,
Mm-hmm.
but what is it like for your body to
Mm.
share this powerful truth with them right here, right now?
Mm.
Because it could be, what I'm trying to get at that one, is it awkward? Is it uncomfortable? Or it could be like, I've said this so much and nothing changes.
Oh,
So now that opens up, maybe that was the enactment to wave off, and maybe there's something new we can go for.
Mm-hmm.
So they could say, yeah, so that you've said this to them before. And when you say this to them, what usually happens here when you bring this up?
Mm.
Because maybe it's another round of assembly with, well, they just blow me off and dismiss me. Oh, now I'm like, oh, is this a new trigger?
Oh.
Right? Possibly. And it could be like, so it might be like, well, yeah, I say this all the time, but nothing
Nothing
ever
happens.
happens.
Okay.
And then the other part too, another avenue to that is, you've said it before, but have you been able to say it like this?
Like that, like this.
Yeah. And many of them, I know it sounds strange because the linguistic words are there, but the
Okay.
message. So, for example, nothing ever changes around here.
Okay.
I just get tired because it just seems like nothing ever changes.
Mm.
You feel that?
Yeah.
In the cycle, they say the words, I just need you to be here for me.
Yeah.
And the chances are of that being heard is a little bit lower, but it's
Mm-hmm.
like, I just need to know you're there for me.
Yeah.
You
I
see
feel
that?
like you I just read something that I think you're going to be doing in the SV on one of the Wednesday things that you guys do, talking about, getting the caregiving system to activate. Literally, when you say it, like the two different styles just then, it's like, one, I'm like, I want to lean in. Like, what? Oh, nothing. Tell me more. What do you need? So how that can activate couples are in conflict or what have you. But I feel like just then, even when you reflected it that way, it hit my caregiving system versus the other one. Like my eyebrows just went up, like, oh, the eyes widened, like, oh, what's going on? What's happening? Yeah, I like that. Okay.
So that was one level to it. Depending on where we are in the treatment process, that's going to affect it.
So you're saying different, like stage one, or that just very new first, second session type thing. Okay.
And then sometimes it might be, I might put it into parts because there's one part of you that needs, but then there's another part of you that's kind of even struggling to say this. Like, I want you to hear it, but I'm not sure. Is there another part of you that kind of like, this is, I don't know. And then I might conject, I don't know, is this kind of scary?
Yeah.
Or if it's just going to be the same thing over again.
What it means for them to not feel like they can turn and say it. Yeah. Some level of vulnerability might be there. Like you say, this is when they just get deaf ears anyway. So they don't, nothing changes. Or
Because let me make sure I heard your question, because that's particularly talking about maybe the person, like we're going to say you're in move 2 with one person. Maybe we'll say the pursuer for now. You've distilled and deepened their affect, and you got a clear message now to
Clear
pass in
message.
3. But right when it's time to pass, they almost like hit the brakes a little
Exactly.
bit. Okay,
Yeah, that's
good.
where they were.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. I just wanted to make sure I was on the right track.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I burned through those 2 questions pretty quickly. Hey, Nicola, seriously, y'all, we're going to actually be within the time frame that we usually try and hit. We do want to get these mailbox episodes in a few more times. So thank you for allowing us to do this. And Nicola, you get to be a part of a segment today. I forgot we didn't do it at the beginning. Ryan and I, we always like to find a way to tell therapists thank you. And the reason why, one, we take this podcast. It's not just we learned that it's not just about us disseminating information, but also we want to come alongside and walk alongside EFT therapists in general, period. And then therapists who listen to this podcast, whether they're EFT therapists or not, they're experiential.
Right. Yeah.
And so we always, and I guess I'm saying this all out loud to Nicola, but it's in a way, I guess this is my form of saying thank you. Why Ryan and I do what we do and why we keep doing it. So just thank you for the willingness to care for the hearts and minds of the various communities that you're a part of, that you're located in. And here's it seems like a simple thank you, but thank you for doing what you're doing right now. Like right now. If you're dropping off your kids, thank you for being a therapist who also like takes care of your own. If you're out walking on the treadmill, thank you for taking care of your health and well-being.
Yes.
If you're eating your lunch right now, good job. Enjoy that sandwich. But also, like, seriously, thank you for listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
Because literally right now, this is your disposable time, and you're choosing to invest it
Choosing to engage
in cultivating your craft to help other people. And I hope it also helps you. So thank you.
Absolutely.
How about you, Nicole?
Absolutely. How about me? With what?
What kind of thank yous or flowers would you want to give to, I knew that would get you there. That would be a good one. Would you want to give to other therapists?
Oh, wow. I don't know. I think there's beauty in taking care of yourself. So thank you. When you do that, take care of your own nervous system, laugh, find those places and spaces within yourself to breathe. So I recognize now, sitting in this seat of having, being the therapist, that it does take, you're bringing yourself into moments, whether, so many complexities. So I say thank you for that. Absolutely. So there goes the flowers, beautiful flowers. Some sunflowers. Some wildflowers.
You can't make me laugh right when I get the mic back.
I love it.
And
if you don't, chocolate. XOXO.
XOXO, there you go. Hey, y'all, thank you so much. I know those were 2 quick mailbag box questions, but as Ryan said last time, do please send an email to us about maybe some feedback, some episode ideas that you have. And now that since Nicola's in the office, you can send them to DocHawkLPC@gmail. Nicola is working on, and if you are out there trying to get a response from Doc Hawk, Nicola's the one trying to catch up on my emails. And I just want to say a special thank you for that too. I know, but it has been a busy year. But that's because, one, I thank you for EFT communities inviting both me and Ryan in. There is nothing that Ryan and I ever feel in this EFT journey is owed to us. So we recognize that everything that we get to do and that we've received is truly a blessing. And it's the gratitude and it's the invitation of great community leaders and supervisors and communities. So thank you for what you do again. And we just hope you keep pushing the leading edge of your understanding of this dynamic model developed by our beloved Sue Johnson. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Thank you for listening. We hope this experience helps you push the leading edge in your work to help people connect with themselves and with each other. Please subscribe to our podcast and leave us a 5-star review. You can contact us at pushtheleadingedge@gmail.com. And you can follow us on our Facebook page at Push the Leading Edge. You can follow Ryan on Facebook at Ryan Rana Professional Training. and on his website, ryanranatraining.com. You can follow James on Facebook and Instagram at DocHawkLPC. You can also check out his website, dochawklpc.com.